Hey, it's David from Freedom Founders. I get to have conversations with dentists, professional practice owners quite often, every day of the week, almost in different forms or fashions, sometimes directly, sometimes in different forms and groups. And here's a conversation that I see a lot out there. It's really what I call denial. And it's denial about industry disruption. It's denial about the fact that the model of healthcare and also, therefore, the model of dentistry has changed, is changing, and will continue to change. Now, does that mean dentistry or a professional practice is a bad choice for a career or profession? No, not at all. It's just that you have to go in eyes wide open to what it is. It's not what it was even 10 years ago, let alone 15, 20, 25, 30, 40 years ago almost when I graduated school. It's a different ball game altogether. And if you don't understand the rules, or if you don't get to set the rules of the game, then you've got to play by somebody else's rules. And those rules are set today by primarily the insurance companies. The vast majority of professional practice owners, doctors, dentists, chiros, vets, play by the insurance games. Why? Well, because they feel like they've been taken in by that trap that insurance companies dole them out patients. It's really paying for your marketing. You're allowing the insurance companies, by taking discounted fees, to pay for your marketing. Bad model altogether, but so many just default to that model. And if you're playing that game of the insurance reimbursements being marginalized more and more over time, especially if you're a soloist or a small practice, you're going to get run over. This model is not sustainable. I'm going to say it again. This model is not sustainable. Now, if you're within a few years of exiting your practice, you're about all done, you've got it together, don't worry. Just roll on out, call it a day. But if you've got more than 5 years still to stay in practice, then you better decide which lane you're going to take. The only way to play the insurance game long term, going down the road some years from now, is you've got to have the leverage of a large group, multiple practices, multiple doctors. You can be private groups, or you can be DSO, whatever you want, however you want to play, but you've got to have that leverage. The insurance companies are not going to play ball with a small soloist. In fact, they could care less about you if you're a small practice. They're only playing ball with you now during the interim time, because eventually they'll have no use for you at all. They will just continue to marginalize you to the point where you give up or you change your model. Most will not be able to change their model, and they're just going to have to give up. They're going to have to sell out. They're going to have to go work for somebody else. A small percentage of you, very small percentage, will be able to maintain a potentially primarily a fee-for-service boutique model. Depends on your demographics, your skill sets, and your marketing ability to do that, and stay away from the insurance companies. Those of you who are doing that now, I would say stay on that model and stay very, very tight on that. Because if you deviate, if you get complacent, and you enter a model where you feel like you've got to start taking insurance, it's game over for you. So decide. You either play big all the way and leverage against the insurance companies, because they will play ball with you if you're big enough. If you're not, then you better niche in and get very tight and learn how to market like a big dog and be able to provide experience and services that a certain demographic will pay for, but it's not a large part of the population. You're in an industry today that is highly regulated, and it's being commoditized more and more. Just face it, that's what it is. The other side to look at is, how can you evolve from where you are? Yes, you've got a lot of time, money, sunk costs into your career profession. I'm not telling you to quit. You just got to figure out your model. If you're going to stay in and be a smaller boutique practice, that's great. Realize it's all on you. You can't scale that. And your exit plan on that model is going to be very, very limited, if any at all, because who's going to buy that practice? Who has the wherewithal? Your market to sell that practice is going to be extremely diminished. So you may not get much of a multiple at all, if any, for that kind of practice. The window right now in which certain practices of, say $1 million or more in adjusted production are being taken by the DSOs and private equity, that window also is going to close, because once they fill their stomach with existing practices, they're going to go out more de novo. So you've got this window right now where, if you've got the opportunity and you're in a place in your career or practice to take that equity and get the highest multiple possible, then I would say do it. I would say do it like now. You don't know how long this window is going to stay open. If you're not in that position and you're younger in practice, then figure out what lane and be intentional about it. Don't just continue to deny what's happening in the marketplace. You know what happened to denial with Blockbuster, with Kodak, with Sears, Radio Shack. I mean, a lot of retailers, the medical community, steamrolled, and many pharmaceuticals. I mean, we could go on and on about the disruption across the board in our economy. And if you're denying that's going to happen, you're playing the wrong game altogether. So just get intentional about where you're going to go, how you're going to exit, when you're going to exit. Have a plan B. Have other wealth building outside of the practice model so that you don't have to count on your practice as an exit strategy when you decide to sell. Lots of things to think about here, but I would say you've got to get clarity and get focused on your game plan. Remember, always stay focused on your freedom. It's all you got.